So good evening, everybody. Good evening. You're welcome to the Trading Pros end of day market analysis and forecast for the 27th of June 2024. So without taking so much of our time, let's get down to the economic calendar. If you look at the economic calendar, tomorrow being the 26th, tomorrow being the 27th, we have London is going to be relatively calm, but we have high impact news coming up on the US dollar by 130. Final GDP is going to be heavy. Unemployment claims is going to be heavy. So it seems the US has most of the activity tomorrow. So from 130, the party is going to begin. So you need to be aware of that. So with that out of the way, let's get down to what we have on our pairs. So as always, we're going to start off with the EURGBP, US 100, dollar index, Euro USD, GBP USD, gold, pound yen, and Euro yen. So let's start off with the EURGBP. So what was our outlook? For those of you who didn't attend the 10 a.m., we're going to do a recap of what we saw, what we anticipated by 10, that's 10 a.m. today, and what the market has done. So we're going to start off. So this is my YouTube channel. I would advise some of you to subscribe so that when I post the videos, it's easy for you to see. And don't forget to like after watching it. So whenever you go to the video, you go down to the contents of the video, there is a listing there. So the listing will just take you, if you're looking for EURGBP, you just click the number, not this. Click the number and it will take you directly to this analysis in this place. Because if you click this, it's going to take you to where you have lots of Euro USD. So I'm going to click on this now to the pairs we have for today. So that's gold, pound, but the Euro pound is important as it gives you buying strength and selling weakness. So stronger pairs. So if we look at this, the possibility is that going into New Year session, we might see a bit of a retracement on this pair, probably towards this fair value gap. Let me go to the 4-hour. This is the 2-hour I'm looking at. Into this 4-hour fair value gap. As you can see, there's a rejection here. So what that means is that we might see pound weakness going into New York session. This pair is still bearish, but we might see intraday strength on the euro against the pound. So let's look at what's played out. It played out like script work. I said you're going to have intraday euro strength, and you see it. So looking at this pair now, the possibility exists that it might challenge, it might come to 84.75 first, then may challenge here. Why? We have a break above 84.64. This was a deep retracement. Why do we say this is a deep retracement? 84.30 was not removed. So since 84.30 was not removed, the possibility is that this might continue to the upside. But you know, this is a short-term move. The bias, overall bias on this pair is bearish. So we're possibly looking at a bullish retracement on this pair. As you can see, we're possibly looking at a bullish retracement on this pair. So going into tomorrow, we might continue to see slight euro strength against the British pound. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the US 100. So the US 100, just like we forecasted, you can go and watch the video yourself. Let me see if I can, if it's very short, so just play it. What we're going to be looking at is the US 100. Looking at the US 100, this pair, if we look at it on the weekly, it has spiked into the weekly fair value gap. That's the upper quadrant of this fair value gap, the 25% of it. And if you look at this on the daily, that's the top of the daily. So we have, this is what you call a bullish piercing pattern. So most likely, this pair might be going in for this fair value gap intraday. So if we go to if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, although where price is, this is a bearish structure point. You don't want to be taking a short position here. So a long position here. So you'll be waiting for a retracement. If it retraces down into this 4-hour fair value gap, or if we move down, there are lots of fair value gap here that have not been mitigated. So we might just see a bit of a retracement, and then for price movement into this daily fair value gap, that is between. So what did it play out? Just like I said, this place is going to give it a bit of a problem, and it is bouncing off that daily fair value gap. So if we look at this from the daily, how did it close on the daily? Well, rejection to the upside. If we go to the 1-hour time frame, so we'll be watching this last down close candle and this low. If you get something like this below here, you need to make sure that the move that removes this low also removes this other blocker. So once you get that, you wait for something like this and they move down. But apart from that, as long as this down candle holds, the possibility exists that price may remove 1986 and 19817. Are we on the same page? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we have. So this is still slightly tilted to the upside. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, price has already gotten to where we were anticipating. Let's look at it. What was our outlook for the dollar index this morning? We're going to be looking at is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, this pair is still bullish. This pair is still bullish. We've had a spike above the previous day's high and a rejection. Price has dipped into the rejection block on the daily. This is the previous day's high on the daily, and this is the rejection block. That's where price is rejecting from. So if we move into the 4-hour time frame, you'll be waiting. There's a fair value gap here, but you'll be watching this last down candle. The possibility is that price may dip into here, and then we might see a continuation to the upside as this pair is still bullish. You need to be aware of that. This pair is still bullish. It may be going in for 05, 105.91. So going into New York, retracement downside and a continuation to the upside. So let's look at dollar index 4-hour. It didn't retrace into that fair value gap. You can see price just took off and it has hit the rejection block from the weekly. This is a rejection block from the weekly. So what we have now, we might see a bit of a retracement tomorrow, but the daily has closed bullish. If we look at it, the daily has closed as a very strong bullish engulfing candle. So normally this is what I call a 3-candle pattern, or what you call, it looks like a sandwich pattern. Bullish, bearish, bullish. So the 3rd candle or the 4th candle is always going to be in the direction of the last candle. So now price is rejecting here, but it's still bullish. If we go down to the 4-hour time frame, you see it's losing momentum to continue. So it might retrace. We have this 4-hour fair value gap here. So overnight, if it does not go move higher, it might retrace into here. Then you look for that bullish swing to continue to the upside, probably towards the daily rejection at 10631. So that's what we'll be watching. So preferably, I prefer to see a retracement and a continuation to the upside. So the next one we're going to be looking at is EURUSD. Looking at the EURUSD, this pair is still bearish, but just like we have euro strength against the British pound, if you notice, it's not closing below these lows. So that means that it might retrace a bit tomorrow before continuing to the downside. So if you look at it on the daily, as closed as a bearish candle, but it's still holding above these lows. And also we have this rejection candle here. We have this rejection block here on the daily. So we have it somewhere here. So we'll be watching this. So this preferably, I'll prefer a bullish retracement first, probably into this 4-hour fair value gap, and then a move back to the downside on this pair. So the next we're going to be looking at is the GBPUSD. If you look at the GBPUSD, you see it's cleaner than the EURUSD due to the weakness on this pair. So if we look at this from the 4-hour time frame and see that we don't have a body close below this level. We do not have a body close below this level. We don't. Somebody may say, but this candle closed below, this candle is a body close below the level. Because this candle spiked, you will not be looking at this candle again. You'll be looking at the low of this candle. So since you don't have a close below the low of this candle, this is going to continue back up. So if we go back to the 1-hour time frame, where we're going to be watching, you can see it's already busy. So we'll be watching to see how far up this pair may go. There's no fair value gap. There's efficient delivery from here. The only fair value gap we have is up here and somewhere here. So this might retrace a bit, then continue back to the downside as this is still bearish. The next pair we're going to be looking at is gold.
Okay.
Gold is still bearish. Gold is still bearish. I'll prefer a retracement instead of a continuation to the downside. I'll prefer a retracement probably into the structure point and they move back to the downside. Because if you look at this on the daily, it has closed bearish. It has taken sell side liquidity here, but it didn't close below here. So it may just retrace. So look at that pattern again I was talking of on the dollar index. I think I made mention of it, something about it in the overnight session of yesterday. I said when you have this type of pattern, the third candle is supposed to be bigger. That will give you a very short pattern. But when you have this bearish, bullish, bearish, the third candle is always going to drop. It's a simple pattern. Bullish, bearish, bullish. This did not move, but you see this move here. Now look at it again. Bullish, bearish, bullish. Do you see it? It's very clean. Once you just can identify it, it's very clean. So I'll prefer to see a retracement and a continuation back to the downside. So just like I've told you guys, if you're watching it on the 15-minute time frame, you need to see a break above 29.99 to usher in a rally towards these highs here. So the next pair, so the bias on gold is bearish, but we might see bullish retracement. The next pair we're going to be looking at is the British pound. Just like I said, this pair is still bullish. Anybody trying to sell it is not going to like the outcome. So just like, let me just briefly play what I said about this pair today during the New Year session. We're going to be looking at is pound yen. So looking at pound yen, just like I've been session, it's under probability. You might see a bit of a weakness and possible continuation on this pair. So if you get a close below 202.46, that is this low here, you wait for something like this, and you move lower. Now let's go to that 202.46. Did you get a close below it? 202.45.46. The market is aware of it. You see the bounce. So this pair, the next level is going to be 203.88. All things being equal. This pair is not slowing down. It's bullish close. So which means that anybody trying to sell this pair, because there are people who trade support and resistance, they are not liking the outcome. They're not liking the outcome at all. But this area might give price a bit of a challenge, but for now, it's still moving up. It's still moving up. That's why I'm saying that it might be going in for 203.88. The next pair we're going to be looking at, and the last is Euro Yen. This pair, just like I said, he has hit his draw on liquidity. You see it. That's this previous month's high. He has taken it. This pair does not have any data to the left, so I can't tell how far this pair might go. But this is what you can do. There's a way my fib is. You can pick this low to this high, then the projection. So you'll be looking at 172.58, 174.26, 175.95. So these are the projections that price may hit if it continues to the upside. So if we go down to the daily, you can already, oh, this is beautiful. Bullish, bearish, bullish. Above a high, it's going to go for this area. Any questions? Any questions? So you have,
Yes.
go ahead, ma. I'm tired
Yes.
already.
Okay. So, I observed that, okay, for example, USD came out weak from the news. So, and from what I know, when USD is weak, then GU is supposed to be buying. So I don't know, because I noticed that before the news on USD, the pair was rallying. So there was consult. Yes, it was. There was a rally. Let me put it that way. So, but after the news that the dollar came out weak, so why is GU not buying since dollar is weak?
Let me explain it to you. You see fundamentals. Why? If you notice, when you look at my charts, I always say technical. Forget what the news is telling you. Trade what you see before you. Is the dollar index making new highs? Yes. It's making new highs. So the news is not their problem. They know where they are going to. You might be, so now let me just, this is my view. This is my view on this pair. Now, this is previous month's low. Do you see the way they spiked the previous month's low? Can you see it?
Yes.
And now they've closed back into the range. Today is 26. When is the day? When is the month ending?
For 4 days time.
4 days time. That will be when?
Yes. Okay, today is Wednesday. Friday. Okay, for the last trading whatever will be on Friday. So then Monday will be a new month.
Now, what do you think their plan is between now and Friday? They want to knock this high out. If they can close above this high, what pattern would you have on the monthly? If they can close near this high on the monthly, what pattern would you have there on the monthly?
If it's higher, then it will be a bullish engulfing.
No. What pattern?
Okay, as in maybe this candle pattern things.
Yes.
What's that? I can't remember, Jerry.
Bullish, bearish, bullish. The
Yes,
next month is going to be very, very bullish.
bullish. Okay.
So that is what they are planning to do. And so whatever the news comes out, you see, I've traded news, and I can tell you that the chart is everything. Leave what news is telling you. News has a way of skewing your mindset. You get, especially if you don't know what you are doing. You now say, okay, because the dollar news came out bearish, let me start selling the dollar. Do you see signs on your charts to sell the dollar? No. So that means that the news is not, the market is not paying attention to the news. That news is inconsequential to them. There are some underlying principles that they are buying the market on. That's why in-depth market analysis, like all these bonds and the rest, come to play. Because it is interest rates that drive the market. So if the dollar is still offering good interest rates, why do you want to sell it?
Okay. Okay. The CPI is something.
So, the absence of any other question, I thank everybody for taking their time to attend. I wish you all a blessed trading, a blessed night's sleep. For those of you who trade New York's Asia session, I wish you all a wonderful trading session and a beautiful night's sleep. Don't forget to join us again at 10 a.m. for a review of the Asia and London session and a forecast for New York session. So I wish everybody a beautiful night's sleep and a lovely day ahead. So good night, everybody, and thank you all for attending.
All right. Thank you too.